I'm currently watching Vanderpump Rules, and in the show, Lala says, I don't know if this is her exact quote, but she says something like, there are girls that can get crazy, and then there are crazy girls. Which do you want to be? Because we all get crazy. All of us women can get kind of crazy emotional highs and lows or whatnot. We have our monthly cycle and all of these things, but it is important, especially as you age and mature, to harness your emotions. Harness? To harness your emotions and to be in control over them and to not let them control you. Essentially, that's what Stoicism is. And there's a lot more to Stoicism. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy. So there's a lot of history behind it, a lot more depth. But in today's video, we're just going to keep it short and simple and talk about the basic fundamentals of Stoicism and, what that means to me and how it has literally changed my life. Now, I know I make a lot of videos on this YouTube channel talking about how this changed my life and this changed my life, and that's what my channel is about. It's about leveling up and glowing up in real time. So I'm constantly learning, constantly just making myself more aware. I gain a lot of wisdom from other people and philosophies in general. Oh, and the reason why I brought up the Vanderpump Rules, that's from spaghetti, but the reason why I bring up that quote is because it just struck me. I was like, you have a point. You have a point, because all of us girls, I am assuming, have gotten crazy at some point, and then you get called crazy. No, we're not crazy. You brought out the crazy in us, and we all have that within us. But I think it's important to not let everyone see that side of you, and actually not let anybody see that side of you. That side of you doesn't have to come out, okay? You are literally giving away your energy, giving away your power when you react emotionally to things. Now, you can have a reaction and you can have emotions to situations, but try to keep those two things separate, because once you have an emotional reaction, it's like a volcanic eruption, and it's kind of hard to like backtrack once you say or do certain things. So that's why Stoicism is so important, because it is going to prevent a lot of destruction and chaos in your life. And overall, it just helps you to protect your peace. For me, Stoicism is more so about reflecting on my internal state and being, and doing this at all times. When shit hits the fan, or when somebody's mean, rude, makes me sad, something happens in my life, I try to take an observer stance instead of absorbing the situation. And I try to just kind of let it wash over me. I'm not talking about being passive and throwing things under the rug, but what I mean is like let it wash over me. Let the feelings kind of wash over me and start naming the feelings instead of identifying with the feelings. As soon as you identify with the feelings, it's downhill from there, sis. It is downhill from there, because there's a difference in feeling sad and saying, I am sad. Pay attention to what comes after the I am. Be intentional about what comes after the I am. What are you identifying as? So when you are taking a stoic approach, you are always, always returning back to self. You're returning back to your sense of being, your internal state, and that is your compass. That should always be your compass in every single situation, because what's happening externally should not constantly be influencing how you're feeling, because then your life is never going to be peaceful. It's never going to be peaceful because there's always something happening outside of you. Actually, I think that the world responds to how you are internally. As within, so without. How you are within, you will see reflected to you outside of you. I'm not sure who said this quote. I will credit the person if I find out who it is. But somebody said, it is not a lousy day because it's raining. It's just a wet day. Let me say that again. It's raining outside. That doesn't mean that it's a lousy day. That means it's a wet day. We're talking about facts. And that's another thing about Stoicism is you are constantly returning to facts and logic. And that has saved me in so many situations from having an emotional reaction. So I used to be the kind of person that would always kind of assume the worst, honestly. I would assume. I was just used to like negative things happening. So I became pessimistic and I would just assume the worst would happen. But now, first of all, I don't even like to make assumptions now. But if I am making an assumption, let it be to my benefit. Let it be to my benefit. Why would I not assume the best? Why would I not? And then guess what? When you start to assume the best, you are aligning with that energetically, and then you attract the best to you. Embodying a stoic presence will literally make you sexier. Don't you want to be sexier? Isn't that what life is about? Is becoming smarter and sexier? Okay? Emotional intelligence is sexy because it takes willpower and discipline. You're not controlling anything or anyone, and it makes things gravitate towards you. It makes people gravitate towards you. People can feel when you're trying to control situations, when you're trying to say something to get a certain response from them, or to kind of like dial in on how they're feeling. Things like that. Being stoic is basically releasing control of everything. You know, the whole world could be on fire around you, and I'm not saying you have to be happy about it, but you are not going to add to that fire. You are not going to like basically throw your shit in the fire too, just because the whole world's on fire. No, you're going to remain present. You'll be able to think from a clear minded space, and that will allow you to make a better decision. No more crashing out. Don't crash out. Okay? Your man doesn't do what you want him to do. Don't crash out. Just align yourself with where you need to be. Why would you try to control somebody? If you want people to do what you want them to do all the time, then are you trying to be friends with people that just like kiss your ass and like you? You know what I mean? Why would you want to be friends with people like that or be surrounded by people like that? Family, friends, lovers, whatever. Okay? I love when people just make their own decisions, even if I don't agree with it. So at some point, there was somebody in my life who started to set boundaries. And it wasn't just with me, it was just in general, setting boundaries with everybody. They started prioritizing their time, their peace, their happiness. And it was like radiating off of them self love and acceptance and all of these things. And I literally told them, I didn't say these words verbatim, but I told them I like them better with boundaries. Basically, just told them I think it's amazing that you have boundaries now, and you take yourself more seriously. That's another thing that comes with stoicism. The only things that you can control are yourself and your boundaries. So make sure that your standard of those things are high. That's it. Stoicism is asking you to keep focusing on yourself. I also wanted to note that stoicism to me is not just a trend. It's not just a performance. It's not just to get people to respect you. It's genuinely a lifestyle choice, and it is curated from a set of values that you have as a person. If you value integrity, if you value honesty, if you value healthy communication and relationships, that is where Stoicism is born. You will naturally develop it as you learn to self-regulate. Breathe into tough situations. Pause, reflect, and think before saying something. And just try to be as grounded as possible. It's not about faking calmness. It's more so about having higher standards for yourself and not letting the chaotic world make you a chaotic person. If you want to be a safe, healthy, happy person, develop these qualities of Stoicism, and you will be that. Anyways, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Just kidding, but thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.